Hey, where you from? From the north, where you from? From the south, where you from? From the east, where you from? From the west, from HBCU, better than yours. HBCU, better than yours. From the sweat, from the MEAC, C-A-double-A, or the C. What's up, everybody? Ba, 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 ba. What's really good, everybody? What's really happening? Welcome to another episode of the HBCU Man Cave. It's your boy, it's your uncle, it's your cousin, it's your best friend. And you know what time it is. You are locked into the HBCU Man Cave, a safe space where men can relate, relax, and release. Now, when we are in the cave, we uplift, we educate, and we celebrate the legacy and excellence of HBCUs as a band of brothers. Now, tonight, we are diving into the profound impact of HBCUs on the NFL, from producing legendary athletes to shaping the very fabric of professional football. HBCUs have been a cornerstone in the league's history. And let me tell you, the legacy continues strong today. Now, for those of you all who watched the Super Bowl just last week, that just right behind us, right? We saw HBCUs take center stage in a big way. From players on the field to coaches on the sidelines, and even the legendary Southern University Human Jukebox Marching Band performing during the pregame and halftime shows and all that. Plus, the NFL debuted the HBCU Day at the Super Bowl Experience to celebrate the deep history and impact of our schools. This HBCU presence was undeniable. I mean, when I tell you it was undeniable, it was undeniable. I had some friends of mine who went, they said they had an amazing time. Now listen, as always, I am joined by my brother and co-host for the day. I got Shean, soon to be Dr. Cain.
What's up?
What's going on, brother?
Let's go Eagles, baby. Eagles. Let's do it, baby. What's going on, my brother?
What's really happening? How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Wait, how was the Super Bowl for you?
Oh, it was good, man. You know, I'm an Eagles fan, so you already know we took that Lombardi trophy home, baby. Baby. You know it.
So you know, like always I can do every week, Shane.
Yeah.
What's in your cup this week?
Hold on, let me go ahead and.
Oh, okay. You gonna freshen it up?
Yeah, I'm gonna just go ahead and read this up. So you know, I got some passion fruit.
Okay.
I got some prosecco. So you know, I'm going strong. I'm just yeah, not too strong, but not too light. You know, just something. Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah. There you go.
Right
there you go. Yes, sir.
All right. So life is good. How's school?
School is amazing.
Soon to be Dr. Cain.
Soon to be Dr. Cain, baby. I can't wait.
I know that's right.
How was school for you?
Listen, school is great.
There you go.
Great. Matter of fact, I missed a couple weeks because I was out sick. You know, I was dealing with the hospital thing, 1, 2, 3, but I'm back. I went to class this week and they were like, hey, I was just kind of like, remember Sophia in The Color Purple? At the end, she like, Sophia's back.
Sophia's back, baby.
I was back in class. I was like, listen, Angie's back. We cutting the food. We clowning. We answering questions. We was engaged. They were like, oh, I said, I'm back, baby.
Yes, sir. There it is. There it is. I love it.
Shout out to our brother Kevin Keys III, who was on vacation this week. So we're gonna just hold it down for him. All right.
He's on the somewhere, just probably listening to us right now.
I know. Is he got his feet kicked up? I wonder.
I hope so.
So now listen. So Shane, tonight we have a very special guest who has lived the HBCU to NFL experience and made his mark on the game. And let me introduce this gentleman right here.
Okay,
his name is Cleo Miller. Okay, he's from Gould, Arkansas, and is a testament of the talents nurtured at HBCUs. Standing at 5'11" and weighing at 207 pounds during his playing days, Cleo made significant contributions to the NFL. After a stellar collegiate career at the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff, he was undrafted in 1974, but didn't let that deter him. He signed with the Kansas City Chiefs initially, but later made his lasting impact with the Cleveland Browns. Now, over his 9-season career, he rushed 2,492 yards, caught 1,175 receiving yards, and scored 17 touchdowns. Beyond the field, Cleo has been actively involved in community initiatives and continues to inspire many with his dedication and leadership. Please join me in welcoming former NFL running back and proud alumnus of the UAPB, y'all, NFL legend, Mr. Cleo Miller.
Hey. All right. Thank you very much.
What's going on, brother? How are you?
I am doing fine. And yourself?
Listen, it's another beautiful day in the neighborhood.
I understand that.
Like, beautiful as we can have here in Cleveland, Ohio, because Cleveland, usually like around the block for me. Like we had the snowstorm last night and this morning compared to Shean. Shean lives out on the other side of the country.
What part of the country is that?
Seattle, Washington.
Okay.
Yeah, so he way out there somewhere. He way out there. All right, so now listen. Again, shout out to everybody who's watching us right now on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. Don't forget to hit that like button, hit that share button. Let somebody know if you got a question or a comment for our NFL player, legendary players today. Please make sure you leave it in the chat. Make sure you say holler at your boy, but don't yell. Put it in the chat that you want to holler at and say something to Cleo. I'm looking at something. Let me hold it. I'm also looking at what is going on with my backdrop real quick. There we go. I had to turn this thing around real quick. Technology, that quick. All right, so let's talk. Shean, I got a lot of questions. I don't know about you. I got a lot of questions.
I got some questions too. But I
want to go back.
Similarities also.
Yeah, so listen, now mind you, let me side note real quick. Shean, so I've been knowing Cleo for some years. I had a chance to interview him here in Cleveland, Ohio. I had another TV show called Another Look, right?
Okay.
Shout out to my producer back then, Jeff Phelps, who put this together. And so we would always start off with our interviews and we would like to go back. So let's go back to high school or those early years of playing football, Cleo. And can you tell us, when you were back in high school at Merle High School in Arkansas, what role did football play in your early years?
Had it not been for football, I may not be here talking with you today. It was something that I felt that only way to get away from that small town is through sports. Grew up on a plantation, in a sense, in the cotton fields, chopping cotton, feeding milking cows, feeding the chickens, the likes. And I felt that there was something more that I could do in life. And I made a promise that if I could get away from there and be able to help someone else not to be able to go through those trials and tribulations that I did when I was young, that's what I was going to do. Football was my avenue, my way out. And so being a small guy, being in the community, playing with the older guys, they made me tough. They taught me the game. And the rest is history. I became an excellent athlete in high school. I was an all-state, all-city, all this, all that, honorable mention, all-American. And as a matter of fact, we had a backfield that they called a point-a-minute backfield. We were scoring a point a minute in the backfield. So
Come on!
Oh yes, we scored a point a minute. We were killing teams and doing the various things, but it taught you me a lesson too. When you're in sports, you get a big head to a certain degree. And my head was swelled. The people said I was great, and they said I was this and that. And I made a mistake. I quit school.
Oh no!
Because I had a ninth grade biology teacher that failed me. And when you get an F on your card, not that I was a dumb student, I wasn't. I was a very smart student, but I just got caught up in that trap. And a lot of athletes in high school get caught up in those traps. In life, they get caught up in traps. So I put a challenge out to the coaches and told them to, go over and talk to the biology teacher and ask her to change the grade. And she said no. She said no, and she was going. She stood up to her grounds, and I'm thankful today that she stood up to her grounds because once quitting school, I realized that I had lost something, and that I had to, if I was going to continue to play sports and to live my dream, that I had to change my ways of actions. Then the coaches realized it too. They came back to me and said, "Cleo, you're a good athlete. You're a great athlete. But the thing you got to understand and know is that you can't play the game by yourself. You have teammates. They're out there too. You take any of those other 10 guys away from the field other than yourself and leave yourself out on the field by yourself, you can't do anything. But if you come back and work as a team effort and get an education, you can do anything you want in the world. You may become a professional football player one day. You may not. And as a result of that changed my life around. And so I went on and became, as I say, all everything in high school. And I was able to get a scholarship and go to an HBCU institution.
So that was my next question. There you go. So that was my next question. So how did you get to UAPB? So you just like, okay, I got this scholarship. Once you got your head in the game.
Oh yes,
what propelled you to get?
Mm-hmm. That was one of the things that I did going to an HBCU. And the thing about it, I stayed at home because my mother was a single parent mother, and I felt that if I went off away from somewhere, she's going to be left short of things. By staying right there in the city that I was raised in. I was born in Gould, Arkansas, but raised in Pine Bluff, Arkansas. Okay. So it gave me the opportunity to do two things: get an education and stay at home and support my mother.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay. Shane, what you got? I know you got something.
I read over your career. Once we got the name in, I read everything. And once I saw Cleveland Brown, I said, oh, he a Browns. Okay. Because I have a similar situation just like you did, right? So I moved here back in the early 2000s from the island. So me coming here and I'm like, what is football? Like these guys are tackling guys. I'm lost. I don't know what's going on. And throughout my years in high school, my coach told me, oh, you're too small. I'm 5'6", 188, right? But I'm a track star. I'm a 100-meter champion. I'm a 200-meter champion. I'm a 4x1 champion, state, region, county, all that.
And you was raw court. Don't forget you was raw court.
So they told me I was too small, and it pushed me to work harder. Without going to college yet, I went to go play semi-pro. So I played 1 year in semi-pro. Coach didn't even believe in me. He said, run a go route. I took off. That just gone. And after that, it was lights out. Went to University of Virginia in Lynchburg. Didn't even start. I did not start.
Really?
No, I didn't start. Nope. It was a lot of favoritism, and didn't start, but I was smart in the classroom. My game transpired once they put me in kick return, punt return, slot wide receiver. I start, Then I went undrafted in 2015. That didn't stop me. I got a call. My agent got a call and said, hey, you got to go down to the Cleveland Browns. They want you to come down and do some things. So I went down to Cleveland back in 2015, 16, did some kick return, punt return, some slot wide receiver. I was down there for about 7 months. And I did some work. Trying to get on the practice squad, trying to make the team. Back then, I think it was Josh Cribb. I don't think he was there yet. But those guys were coming in. And I had a good time.
Shane, you was around the block and you ain't told nobody.
I was around the block.
See, Cleo, we didn't even know. So Cleo, here's a question for you though. What was a standout moment for you either as a student or as a student athlete? What was a standout moment for you when you were at Pine Bluff?
University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff,
Yeah, what was
formerly Arkansas A&M College. You know, the thing about it is that when I got there, you had a lot of great athletes that were there. And I didn't really actually start when I first got there. The thing that impressed me was that the guys were down to earth guys. And I got to know all of the guys that were on the team, even though the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff was right across the lake from where I played high school ball. So these guys got the opportunity to see me play and knew that I was coming and know that I had a little talent. So they embraced me. When they embraced me, you know, coming in, as a matter of fact, the started running back and myself, we got to be real close friends. And this gentleman, I told him when I got there, I didn't come to take his job. I came in to be a player to help the team in whatever kind of way I could. And it just so happened, this gentleman, he stayed in trouble. And, you know, he was a good guy, but he was always one of those guys that found trouble somewhere. So the coach wound up taking the position from him and giving it to me. But we had made a pact to each other, you know, through brotherhood and playing together, that it didn't matter which one who was on that team to play in that position, that we would support each other. And that gentleman is a great friend of mine even today. And then that was a moment for me to realize and understand the importance of being on a team on a higher level than I was in high school, that propelled me to go on, be the athlete that I was.
Wow. Okay. Wow. Okay. Awesome. Now then, let's transition. Now let's transition from college and let's head on over to professional football. Again, you signing as an undrafted free agent at Kansas City Chiefs in 1974. Wow. Okay.
Pretty good while ago. Yes.
Yeah. As a free agent. Now, what did that actually, for you, what did that even, how did that even impact you? Or just like, okay, mama, I made it? Or it's like, okay, we still trying to figure this thing out?
No, the thing about it was that I had gotten the opportunity and an invitation to come in and try out, and it was during the summer months before the regular season started. And there was also a time when the NFL was striking. And it was a time where you saw so many athletes come in and out of camp. And so it was one of those things that you had that had an opportunity to make the team, but it was three training camps you had to go to before you would officially be invited to the regular camp during the football season. Mm-hmm. And so the thing that I had to do, and I had a plan, and that was that if I could be equal or greater than the number one draft choice that they had brought in, the starting fullback and the starting halfback, that I would be able to make that team, as well as do other things that I had not done when I was in college. I never returned kickoffs, in college, or punts. But when I got onto the Kansas City Chiefs, they asked me if I could do it. And of course, hey, I'm a challenger, and I will challenge you if you give me the opportunity. And I said, yes, I could do anything you want me to do. So when you get in a camp as a rookie, and you start going through various things that you don't know, and you're trying to find out, and you're trying to get to that point. So things that's presented to you while you're there, you go back home, after camp is over, and you work on those things.
Yep.
And that's what I'm doing. And so any weakness I had, I would work on it. But I had another gentleman who was a tight end / fullback that was from the college we both went through there, and the camp at the same time. And while I was back at college working out, trying to do other things, he's bragging, he was laying down, sleeping, and not working out and whatever. He never made it, but I did. And the thing about it,
you put that work in.
Yeah.
Excuse me? But the work in, yes.
Mhm.
Oh yeah. And so the thing that I had was a list because I said they were striking, and I must have seen at least about 250 guys come in and out of that camp during that time. And each time the assistant coach would come in and say the head coach want to see you and bring your playbook with you.
Oh,
You struck his name, and he struck his name's off the list because you never saw that guy again.
yep.
And so what actually happened to me, it went all the way down to about 2 minutes before the last, before the final cut was over with. And so the coach came in and told me the head coach wanted to see me. And so I started saying, okay, I telling all the guys,
Yeah, that's it.
I'll see you somewhere down the line. I'm going to because, the coach had told me to come in. But the thing about it, and I wasn't paying any attention, he never asked me to bring my playbook. And so when I went into the office, he was congratulating me and letting me know that I'd passed all the tests. I'd done everything that needed to be done, and he was welcoming me to the team. So you talking about somebody floated up in the air. I mean, it was just like I was on on the stairway to heaven going up to the sky, because I had made that team.
Listen, all right. So now, I'm just excited about all this we're learning. So now, real quick, Shane. So this is kind of like what he just experienced, like just putting that work in. Is kind of what you were talking about when you came to Cleveland.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I witnessed and was a part of that whole, once you get called, when the head coach called you and said, bring your playbook, that was a moment, either you're going to get cut or you're going to make the team. So now they don't even have you leave your playbook. They're going to tell you to bring it, even, if you're going to get cut or not. And I was a part of that where, hey, bring your playbook. And, as a kick returner, punt returner, you're easily disposal. Like anyone can kick return and punt return, but not everyone have the speed, the agility, and the mindset to go up against what is coming towards you. Because, you only have a split second to make a decision.
You ain't got a second.
Me going into the office just like, oh man, this is it. Again, I'm only 5'6" and 180. I'm just a little dude. And I went in there and he was like, hey man,
I love it.
What? We're gonna see what you got on the practice squad. and man, I was just so excited, but it never really lasts long because I got injured. So it's like, boop, there you go. And I was just back to other practice squads. I went up to the CFL also, BC Lions, and also the Argonauts, Toronto Argonauts. So I had a little stint, I kind of experienced it. Never put the uniform on to play in a game, but I had the experience being around the guys and being around how competitive it is. So I definitely get what Mr. Miller is saying. Definitely.
So for those who are just now joining us again, you are watching the HBCU Man Cave, and today is our special guest, NFL legend from the Cleveland Browns, Cleo Miller. And we've been talking about some of the impact of how HBCU alumni, if you came from that transition from HBCUs to NFL. Now, it's not like you're going to make it overnight. I love the fact that Cleo said you got to put that work in. Mm-hmm. Just to shout out some of the few people who did put in some work in 2025. Just at this last week's Super Bowl, we had Joshua Williams, a defensive back from Fayetteville State University, made his third consecutive Super Bowl appearance with the Kansas City Chiefs. And then the Philadelphia Eagles had 3 HBCU graduates on their coaching staff. They had Christian Parker, who's from Virginia State University, passing game coordinator. Yeah, Roy Anderson from Howard University, who was the cornerbacks coach, and Eric Dickerson from South Carolina State University, who's the offensive quality control coach. But wait, there's more. HBCU talent in the NFL today. Right now, there are about 22 former HBCU players that are part of a 50-man roster across the NFL for the 2024 season. Now, Marquise Bell from Florida A&M University was named the 2024 Black College Football Player of the Year for his standout performance with the Dallas Cowboys. Now, that despite these successes, no HBCU players were drafted in 2024, the NFL draft in 2024. So we got to make a difference coming with the next draft. Hopefully, we can make some impact. And we haven't had this happen since like 2020 or something, give or take. Now, don't quote me on this. I'm just doing my research, but if I'm wrong, correct me in the chat. But I know that we got to make a difference, hopefully, come this season with the drafts. Any thoughts about what this draft could look like coming up this year, Chloe? Cleo, what you got? Anything? You got some ideas? You think it might be some prospects out there from our HBCU community?
I have not gotten the opportunity to see a lot of prospects in the last year or so.
Okay.
But I'm sure, there's always sleepers in the HBCU. If you go back into the 60s, the 60s and the 70s, more athletes in the professional football came from the HBCU of black colleges. And then it does today. And so what actually happened, your larger schools start just taking those athletes from the HBCUs. But you always have those sleepers. You always have those guys who have the fire in their bellies and want to play and want to do things. And sometimes they get overlooked. Some will be just like me, have the opportunity to go out and play, but they're there. Okay. There's nothing about it. You may not know that much about him. You wouldn't have known about a Walter Payton. They didn't know anything about him until they went out there and scouted their school, and then he became that professional football player. There are plenty of them during the era that I was playing, so I know they're out there. Okay. And all they want is the opportunity, the ability to play. At my college that I graduated from, they probably have about 3 or 4 of those guys right now that are out there playing on various teams. I can't tell you exactly what their names are, but I know they're there.
Okay. And listen, so you talked about that. You alluded to that, so let's go there. So midway through your second season, as you put in that work, you were traded from the Kansas City Chiefs right here to Cleveland, Ohio, to play for the Cleveland Browns. How did this move impact your career?
Well, let me go back a little bit.
Oh, let's go back.
That's one of the parts of the things that affect guys. I wasn't traded. They released me. They cut me.
Okay. Oh, see how they put the words out there. They make it sound like even though they didn't.
See what actually happened.
Take a swig on that one. Let them go.
Yeah. What actually happened is that I was there on the team, and I had made the team with Hank Stram. As a matter of fact, Hank Stram was a legendary coach for the Kansas City Chiefs and had never had a losing season. But they lost that season, and we lost the season in 1974. And as a result, they wanted to make a change. The irony of the situation is that when they made their change, they hired a former Cleveland Browns player that was supposed to be one of the most intensive searches in the history of professional football for a head coach. His name was Paul Wiggins. And Paul and I, he didn't know that much about it, had never been a head coach. And he was learning just like the players were. And for a long time, I was angry at that gentleman because I would go into his office, angry at the coach, because I would go into his office and I would ask him, to play, and he would say, "Yeah, you're gonna play," because on Hank Stram's staff, I was scheduled to be his starting fullback that following year. When they cut him, all players changed. He came in and said, "You're going to be my starting fullback. Go back and gain weight and do the various things that you need to do to play the position." That's what he's telling me. But his staff and him also, while I'm in Arkansas working out and doing the things that need to be done, he and his staff made other plans to get someone else, to get a gentleman named MacArthur Lane from Green Bay and another young gentleman that that they brought in for that fullback position, not telling me that they were moving me back to a halfback position. So I worked I worked very hard to to gain the weight and to prepare myself for that fullback position. As a matter of fact, I was the first guy in camp. Because I wanted to get a start because I knew I was going to be a starting fullback. Didn't work that way, and so then I would go into his office. I got hurt, and I was set up by a linebacker coach that got hurt, and then I fell behind schedule and everything else because I couldn't participate in practice or compete for that halfback position in training camp. Mm-hmm. So once the season started, I went back into his office, and the other guys were not doing anything. They weren't performing up to what I thought we could do as a running back position. So I asked the head coach if I could get in and play because I could help the team. And he said, sure. That's what I'm looking for, somebody who wants to get out there and do things. So if your head coach is telling you that, then you think that your head coach has power over the assistant coaches. In this case, because he's still learning, he allowed them to do all the things. And when he was telling me I was going to play, it pumping me up. I'm so excited I'm going to play. But the offense coordinator, who wasn't even the running back coach, said, no, you don't fit in our system. You're not playing. Okay. So this went on for about a couple of weeks. And you get three, if you play 3 regular seasons, you get credit for 1 year. For a year toward your pension. And so after that third game, I went over to him again and asked him, and we'd just beaten Oakland Raiders. And he was, he jumped down my throat and told me, they had some choice words for me and saying,
them words right there, them words.
And I could not. And the thing about it is that, I said that I couldn't let him be a winner because I'd been complaining all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And before you knew it, I had some choice words for him. And we got into a squabble inside of the office. And so I did something that a rookie shouldn't do. I mean, guy going to hit to his second year, it was a mistake. And then, in football, you have learning experience. Yep. So I spilled back at him and told him to trade me, play me, or put me on waivers. I didn't care, give a bleak what he do. It's going to be better. And so here it is. I'm a young guy. I know I have the ability to do things. The guys on the team knew I had the ability to do it. So your head get pumpy, you get excited, the adrenaline flowing, and you want to do something so bad, and then all of a sudden it's just like a tire. You've been deflated. All the egos and everything, my ego is down. It was low. So the thing about it, and I came to my senses and just told him that. And the next thing you know, at least I did rotate it in the backfield with the players. Once that happened, it was just like I had the plague. I couldn't get nowhere close to the backfield. I couldn't run in the plays. As a matter of fact, they had me running scout team plays, dummy plays and stuff. Yeah. And it just got quiet, and they just stood me out there at a wide receiver position. Coaches didn't say anything to me. I knew my time was going to be limited there from that standpoint. So
they said,
these are the politics.
Cleo got cooties. If we can't fool with him, we got to go to we don't want to send him up to Cleveland.
And so it after the 7th game of the season when they couldn't there was a deadline for trading or doing whatever. He calls me up and he tells me, Cleo, you told me you wanted to do 1 or 3 things: be traded, play, or put on waivers. He said, well, we tried to trade you somewhere, but nobody wanted to trade for you. We don't fit into our plans, so we're going to release you. I said, okay, fine, not a problem. When are you going to do it? He'd already released me. And so I only lived about 5 minutes from the station. I said, well, I'd like to see and talk with you, after, after this is done. So I go over there, no one's in sight. The only person that was in the locker room when I went to clean out my locker was the trainer and the equipment managers. And they couldn't believe it, what had actually happened. But the thing about it was that, I had faith and confidence in myself. I had done a good enough job to impress someone. All of Hank Stram's assistant coaches there were different teams, as well as Hank Stram. When I got back home, my phone was ringing off the hook. Now, this gentleman told me that he couldn't trade me. Nobody warned me, and I wasn't going to play there. And so when I got home, my phone rang off the hook. Every coach from every other different team that was still coaching and stuff were trying to get me to come and play for their team. And the only reason I wound up in Cleveland, because that was the only one team that was playing against the Kansas City Chiefs at that time, and I wanted to show them that they had made a mistake. So
now I got a follow-up question. I'm glad you said that. I'm so happy you said that, because when you signed with Cleveland, right? 1977. When you signed
No, it was 75 when I signed the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yes, 75, but the year 1977, that is when you had your breakout season.
Mm-hmm.
You had over 700 rushing yards.
Let's go!
With 4 TDs that season. Now, I know for a fact that Kansas City has to play the Cleveland Browns back in the day because of how the schedule was. Because I did my research.
Mm-hmm.
Did that motivate you so much to go out there and put up all those yards that season?
No, I was motivated before it's 1977. I was motivated in 1975. That's why I came to Cleveland.
He said, listen. If anybody, I'm going.
It didn't make it to 77. My pressure and my abilities was displayed in 1975 after I got there, because I wasn't a starter because they had Greg Pruitt and other guys there, but I contributed on special teams and in some running plays. I would have been running more, but I had hurt my ankle. But they can take you away from the team, but they can't take your mind and your brains and what you know.
Exactly.
And Greg needed 200 yards that season in 75 to get 1,000 yards. While I wasn't able to actually physically get out and help him, I was able to tell him about the Kansas City Chiefs players, the tendencies, all the things he needed to do, what plays he needed to run in order to get it. And Greg got his 1,000 yards.
Listen, shout out to Greg Pruitt. Y'all have been good friends for a long time. But y'all just did something, just yesterday or the day before? Y'all just had an event. Y'all were out.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Wasn't Greg and you out just recently doing some community outreach?
Oh yes. We always done. Greg and I lived together for 7.5 years. As roommates. During the football season while I was here. And the thing about it, every year I was in the backfield with Greg, he gained 1,000 yards. The year they took me out of the backfield with him, he got his leg broke, and they traded him to the Oakland Raiders. But the thing that people don't realize to understand, when you have a talent, and I didn't mention when I was at Kansas City, Hank Stram, before the year was over with it, he called me his secret weapon. Because before he had told me to continue working and do the things you need to do, and then before the year's over, you were going to play. And so, it wasn't until about 3 games before the regular season's over, I started playing, and I played against the St. Louis Cardinals at the time, and I did something great, and I had the headlines, with them, because nobody really knew anything about me other than I was playing special team. That was my breakout during that time. And so when people started asking him and talking to him about me, he called me his secret weapon. And so that's the thing. I had nicknames along the way. In high school, they named me after a great defensive back that played for the Detroit Lions called Dick Night Train Lane. And so through high school, from the time I was in junior high school until I graduated, they called me some forms of that name. And I wound up with Night Train. But when I came to the Cleveland Browns, what actually happened is that I didn't play in 75, but in 1976, they had 2 fullbacks at the Browns that I mean, they were big, and they couldn't block, and they couldn't run, and they couldn't catch the ball. And that's one of the things that my high school coach taught me. He taught me how to do all three. He already knew I could run and I could block. I mean, I run and I could catch the ball, but untraditionally, he had me up on the hill on the sled with the offensive lineman teaching me how to block. So I never used it when I was in high school and in college in the pros. But college and I never did in high school, nor did in college. But when I got in the pros and that second year with Hank Stram, that's what they had me do. And that's how I came to the Browns. And so I moved to that fullback position as opposed to the running back position because I had all those tendencies. And that's when going back to those years in 1997, I led the team in rushing. No, I led the team in receiving. I had that 700 and some odd yards, and then also I could run and catch the ball, and I could block, and they'd put me in the backfield with Greg. So it's those things that you learn, and then and the coaches see that you have the ability, and then you also help other guys because you're sitting on the bench, you're learning, and you know things that they may forget. So I became a leader, even though I was not really a starter with the Kansas City Chiefs as a rookie, and then when I got with the Kansas City Chiefs, with the Cleveland Browns.
All right. So, Cleo, I got to before I just want to get one more question about the Super Bowl. Just want to get your thoughts on it. With the recent Super Bowl, that's behind us. What are your thoughts on the game and its outcome? Since it was the Eagles versus the Chiefs.
The thing about that is that some guys asked me, and I had to be a realist. If it's not the Cleveland Browns playing, then I'm pulling for the Kansas City Chiefs. I never played in the NFL. I always played in the AFC. But when it comes to the Chiefs, because they were the ones that opened up the door and gave me the opportunity to be there. So I'm going to pull for the Kansas City Chiefs, win or lose. And I happen to tell someone that the Chiefs weren't going to win that game. And so I'm for them, but I know they're not going to win the game. And that is the truth. And sure enough, they did not win it. As a matter of fact, I have a son out in California. And I had called to talk to him because he's a San Francisco 49ers fan. And he said, "Oh yeah, you coming and you calling me to brag about the Kansas City Chiefs being in the Super Bowl and everything else." I said, "No, I'm not calling you to talk about football. I call you to talk about basketball."
So if nothing else, it sounds like your experience in your life through playing with the Kansas City Chiefs or the Cleveland Browns has provided you with some great opportunities and pathways. And speaking of that, let's take a moment to highlight a valuable resource for students aspiring to join the HBCU family. For those looking to attend an HBCU, I would suggest you try out and apply using the Common Black College application. This application offers a streamlined process with a single application and a fee for just $20. A student can apply to over 50 HBCUs. Again, one application, $20, and you can apply to over 50 HBCUs. Now, this platform not only simplifies the admissions process, but also increases access to higher education for many. Now, real quick, I got my good buddy, friend, Robert Mason, who is part of the Common Black College application. Oh, wait a minute. Okay. Well, listen, to learn more. Oh, wait a minute. Here we go. There we go. Let me just show you this quick little clip about the CBCA.
Did you know you can apply to over 50 historically black colleges and universities at the same time for only $20? You can with the Common Black College application. Hello, my name is Robert Mason. I'm the founder of the CBCA. Students around the world have completed the application and received multiple acceptance letters, financial aid packages, and scholarship offers. So visit our website at commonblackcollegeapp.com to apply now. And don't forget to pick up the book, Get Educated, The Man Behind the Common Black College Application. Thank you, and get educated.
Now listen, you tell everybody, you tell Robert that your Uncle Anthony sent you over there so you can apply for this. Now for alumni who are watching this right now, you can also pay it forward. Here's what you can do. You can actually go on the app right now. You can purchase an application for a student in advance because we want to make sure that we're tearing down every barrier so they can apply to schools like the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff, or at Bethune-Cookman, or at the University of Virginia, Lynchburg, just to name a few. So for more information, again, go to commonblackcollegeapp.com. If you want to have your promotion, you want us to sponsor, you want to be part of the programming, make sure you hit us up on our Instagram, our Facebook, our Twitter, all of our feeds. Go to HBCUsense.com so you can find out more information how we can be able to advertise you, or you can advertise right here on the HBCU Man Cave. All right, so now let's shift gears because we didn't talk about football, right? We didn't talk the lab, we didn't talk. So Cleo, outside of, since you've retired now, and I know you still do a lot of work, and you do community outreach with the Cleveland Browns Foundation, and you've been down to the Canton Football Hall of Fame to do some things. Can we talk about your involvement with an organization called the Universal Negro Improvement Association? That's a long one.
Say UNIA for short.
I had to make sure everybody who was watching understood what that was. So if you could you share with our viewing audience what is UNIA, or again, the Universal Negro Improvement Association?
That's what it is. It was called the Universal Negro Improvement Association and African Communities League, founded by the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey, who was just recently pardoned by President Biden before he, after 100 years before he got out of office. It's an organization. It was the largest minority organization ever assembled in the world, and a lot of people say that it was a mother organization for a lot of organizations in terms of being able to be self-sufficient, self-reliant, and to have businesses and to do things on our own. Marcus Garvey, the organization is called the Universal Negro Improvement Association, again, as I say, but it's about the emphasis on the name improvement, uplifting of Black people, and improvement in area there is in life, from agriculture, educational, health, science, you name it. This organization is there for that. And so my task how I got to where I am now was because of when I was in back at home in Arkansas in that field, looking for something to do, and to actually help people, because I believe that we as a people are put on this earth to be missionaries. And because I came from a very poor background, I was looking for ways, as I said earlier, to help other people not to go through the trials and tribulations that I did. So when I got out of professional football here in Cleveland, I got involved in politics, and since I wanted to see the difference between the politics in professional football and the outside world, so I became a member of the 21st District Caucus under Lou Stokes during that time. And I told him I didn't want to move too fast and to let me take my time. First thing they did is made me chairman of voter registration, the co-chair of the Political Awareness Committee, and put me right out into the fire. So anybody and everybody who aspired to be anything from a political standpoint back in 1984 up until now, I came in contact with him. But the thing that really got me at the time, I didn't realize that politics was what it was, and that most politicians are campaigning for the next election, and they have to make some promises that they know they can't keep. And there were some promises that were made to me and in terms of helping other people that never materialized. And so I didn't really like that part of politics. Mm-hmm. And so there was unbeknownst to me, there was a little old man sitting in the corner. His name was Mason Hargrave. He was the president general of the Universal Negro Improvement Association. And I didn't know it. I didn't know anything about Marcus Garvey or the organization at the time. And his thing was to try to get me to be involved. And it took him 6 months to get me involved. And when he did, he told me to read. And when I started reading about this organization and what this man was doing, I said, oh my God, where have you been all your life? Why had I not known about this organization? And from
right, because go ahead. Go ahead.
And then the thing about it, I had not planned on being involved in it, to come in and learn about it and then move on to the next stage. But I got involved in this organization back in 1984, and I've been involved in it ever since, trying to help and trying to do something to help our people. And so it became my life mission. It became more important to me than even being a professional football player. Don't get me wrong. Go ahead, sir.
I know. I'm just curious because maybe I grew up and not knowing a lot about Marcus Garvey, or maybe that's just not one of the ones who I just learned a lot about during Black History Month.
I got you.
Ah, thank you. Because I just grew up thinking he was just this militant, this radical, just pack your bags and be going back to Africa.
So what you got to understand is Marcus Mosiah Garvey was born Jamaican, same country that I'm from.
Oh,
so I'm from Jamaica. I was born in Jamaica.
Oh, okay. Well, we got to talk.
Hey, man.
I was born in Montego Bay, Jamaica. So Marcus Mosiah Garvey is a standing pillar in the community, not only in Jamaica, not only in the U.S., but around the Caribbean islands, the Greater Antilles and the Lesser Antilles, right? So him being a national hero in Jamaica, he has done so much and so many work. I know he was convicted of fraud, in Atlanta, mail fraud, and, they convict him, whatever the case may be. But when I did my research on him and what the impact he'd had on American football, you touched on it, Cleo, because he was a part of UNIA, right? He was influenced by the Black Power movement. He was one of the first Black activists to face criticism because he met with the supremacists, the white supremacists, the Ku Klux Klan, just to try to find peace in what they were doing. You know what I'm saying? So oh my God, if I can't.
Wow.
He did a lot.
Black history, let's go.
Let me say this to you.
Yeah.
Marcus Garvey, in a sense, made people of African descent feel proud of themselves.
Yes.
Back in the 20s and 30s, they had a song called the Coon Song. Mm-hmm. And they said that Coon Song was saying a people without a flag had no identity and they were less than dirt. And so in an international convention in 1920, they created that red, black, and green flag to represent Black people all around the world.
Yep.
And it became that the flag bearer for people of African descent. Not only did they do that, the buzzword around here and recently is social justice. Mm-hmm. This organization created a Declaration of Rights for the Negro people of the world, dealing with all the different social injustices when they had the League of Nations. And so when you look at social justice from the standpoint of what is being done now, it came out of the UNIA.
Yes.
Also, you have with the permanent form of people of African descent. That form came out of the UNIA and that Declaration of Rights. too, representing Black people around the world. So this organization is not dead. It's still alive. We're still doing things. As a matter of fact, with the African Union, the sixth region, which is the world, North America, it was done and recommended being done through this organization today. And there's a lot of other things that's going on that people don't know about, that's about to happen. And one of the best things that could have happened, again, as I say, when Biden exonerated Marcus Garvey, now it is woken up us as a people. Okay. And now we can begin to look and think about the things that we need to do, and to think about our ancestry and who we are, and be able to position ourselves so we can make change in the world.
So again, for the ladies and gentlemen, again, the UNIA, again, stands for the Universal Negro Improvement Association. And simply put, their goals is to unite people of African descent, to develop independent African nations, to promote Black economic independence, establish commercial and industrial ties between Africa and the rest of the world, and educate people of African descent, just to name a few. Listen, now, Cleo, if somebody wants to get involved with this particular movement in this journey, or want to be a part of, want to support, want to be maybe start a community in wherever they're watching from right now, how can they get involved?
The best way to do it is to go to the website. And it's very simple to remember. It's just ONEUNIA.org. Okay.
All right. So again, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna have somebody put that in the chat for us real quick. Is spell out the word one, ONEUNIA.org, and that's how you can find out more information about the Universal Negro Improvement Association, how you can get involved, how you can maybe get a group in your area, your community. Listen, they're already talking about doing it. They want to break up. They're gonna do their own podcast. This brother down here, Shean, he'll be podcasting real soon. There's gonna be a whole movement of things happening.
Mm-hmm.
Man, listen, before we get up out of here, now we've had Shean, was any more stats, any more things you want to share about football before we do our good news?
Yeah, we did touch on some of the HBCU players that are up for draft and have great, and I just think the reason why a lot of HBCU players that are not featured is because we don't have that television time, right? When you go to the bigger PWI schools, you get TV time, you get that NIL, so people are going to know you, people are going to follow you on social media. So, but I really, there's about 5 or 6 players here that I have that are trending to do good in the upcoming NFL Scouting Combine. And we have Isaac Anderson from Virginia Union. We have Nana Asante from Morgan State. We have Kenny Barnett from Virginia State. We have Kendall Bowler, who's a DB from Florida A&M. We have Jamarison Brown from Southern. We have James Burgess from Alabama State. We have Elijah Burgess, for a running back from Hampton University down in Virginia. We have Jada Byers, a running back from Virginia Union. So these guys are on the 2025 HBCU Combine roster.
Yes!
Should be doing some good things into the scouting, and I'm looking forward to see these guys propel, because we're not going undrafted. We going in one of these rounds. We're gonna make money
on the round.
There you go.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, whether you're watching this again on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, you are watching the HBCU Man Cave. Now it is time for our Habari Gani, which Cleo, it really it's a Swahili word. Again, for those who are watching us, it means what is the news, and for us, we talk about what is the good news. So in this segment, we like to focus on any positivity and uplifting news from our community, whatever good news happening personally or professionally in your world that you would like to share. So with that said, let's see.
Before you go, can I say one other thing before you go?
Yes, go ahead.
The thing that I want to impress upon on athletes, students alike, don't shy away from HBCUs. There is a world of knowledge and experience in your historical Black colleges. It's going to teach you some of the things that you don't even think that you might be able to comprehend or learn. When I was coming through HBCU, I had a full scholarship, but I was so in tune in trying to help somebody else. I gave that scholarship up so somebody else could be able to come in and to go to school because I was eligible for grant and aid. So don't take it lightly. Go to those schools, learn as much as you can, and then get back involved in your communities and share. Because a lot of us as a people are not going to be able to go to your brand name colleges or whatever from that standpoint. But the learning that you get from HBCUs is just as equal or greater than being at a Howard, at a Case Western or Pittsburgh, University of Pittsburgh, or any other white school there is out there. So look into it hard, with your heart, and understand and know that school, the HBCU is waiting for you.
All right. So with that, Cleo, I'm going to go to you first. So again, with our Habargani, let's share any good news that you want to share about what's happening in your world, in your life.
What's happening in my world and life now?
Any good news you want to share?
Oh, the good news is that, hey, and it's always got to be about this organization. It's open and it's willing and it's ready to actually help our people worldwide. And so if you come in and be a part of the association to help us close some of those gaps that have been created now and in politics and in life. I mean, that would be something that's good. It's good anyway, but it's even better if you come in and be a part of what we're doing. Other than that, I'm blessed.
Okay.
Each day that I wake up and get up, that's 99% of the battle. I can deal with the other 1%.
Yeah.
All right. I love it. Shane, what you got? What's your Habargani this week?
Listen, man, I am excited. Thanks to you and the crew. I am heading to Charlotte, North Carolina in March to the Community Impact Assembly CIA. I'm excited for that. And also, I got one more class, y'all. One more class. And I'll be a doctor. I'm ready to go. Let's do this.
Congratulations, Doc.
Thank you.
And please get in contact with me.
I will.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. So my good news is, let's see. I'm packing my bags. I'm on my way. I'm headed down to Beale Street. I'm on my way to Memphis, Tennessee. This Tuesday morning, I'll be celebrating and working with the United Negro College Fund and a division called the National Alumni Council. I've had the distinct pleasure of serving as their immediate past president with nearly 300,000 alumni, more than 60,000 students, providing impact and opportunity for students of color, majority, who are attending historically Black colleges and universities across the country, primarily supporting the private HBCUs, but we got some love for everybody. So I'm excited about going to Memphis, Tennessee. So I only got one day of work this week. I'm off tomorrow for President. Well, the President's Day from Obama.
Something. When you get old, you forget about these. And since you're talking about these things, I just remembered that next month in March, I'm going to be going to Omaha, Nebraska. And there's an organizational group there that's done a fundraiser, and it's called it's an organization created by a gentleman in Iowa, but he's from South Sudan, and they're raising funds and stuff because of all the things that are actually happening over there with the people hunger and all that kind of stuff, raising money and stuff. So I'm going to be able to go and help them with the fundraiser to raise money to help young kids in Africa.
Oh, I do have one more thing I want to bring up, Cleo. Back in 2000, now one more thing. if I recall correctly, you're not just a legend on the gridiron. I remember that you were once a master in the kitchen back in the
I knew that's where you were going. I knew that was what you were
So,
going to do.
Cain, here in Cleveland, and I have to send you the video clip of this. Here, we used to have an event called the annual Celebrity Soul Food Cook-Off, right?
Yeah.
And I used to be one of the celebrity hosts, and I used to have to go and sample everybody's food. So the very first year of this competition was in 2000, and your boy down here won first place. I think we even got a picture of him peeling some potatoes for Cleo's candied yam.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, let me see. Hold on, I got a picture
Uh-oh.
somewhere. Boom!
Oh.
Listen, he was somebody's in the kitchen.
Cleo
Miller.
You know what? When you come from the South and you're in the house with a lot of women, and you're the only male at the time, and then you got to do something. Then you got to learn how to do something.
Oh, yeah.
You got to learn how to cook. My mother taught us how to do anything in the house that a lady can do except for have a baby.
So do you still dabble in the kitchen with your wife a little bit?
Well, you know, I because of my sight, I'm not able to do the things I used to be able to do. But that was one of the things I used to do. And when we got married, we had a pet. She said, "You stay outside, and I stay inside." Oh, but prior to that, you know, hey, and her and her family, they have the rib cookouts and different things of that nature. So I was able to assist her and help her, you know, and doing a little grilling and stuff on the grill and stuff. But she became the master of it, and you know, and came because she can handle herself in the kitchen, and so you know, every now and then, if I have to go in and do something, I'm thinking I'm able to do it.
Okay.
Awesome.
That's good.
I had to go, Cleo. I had to go there real quick. Like I gotta bring this. I gotta talk.
That's
about
not
it.
a problem. It's not a problem.
So listen, ladies and gentlemen, we've had an amazing time tonight, a powerful discussion. Again, we were able to talk about the impact of HBCUs on NFL has been undeniable, from the players on the field to the coaches, to the marching band, to the game officials, during the Super Bowl and beyond. Whether, you know, we talked about even some of the players who are going to be coming up hoping for the draft for this year. A huge, huge thank you to our guest, Cleo Miller, for sharing his journey and wisdom. Again, he told you earlier again about the website. If you want to get involved again with the Universal Negro Improvement Association, go to their website at www.oneUnia.org. Okay, much love again to my good brother over here, Shean. And to Kevin, I know you got your feet kicked up somewhere. Hope you are having an amazing time. And thank you all for tuning in. To learn more about what we do, how we do, when we do, hear about the HBCU Man Cave, or if you want to get involved with other things that we do with Historically Black Sense, go to our website at HBCUsense.com. As always, I'm your boy, your uncle, your cousin, and your best friend. Thank you for joining us on another edition of the HBCU Man Cave, a safe space for men to relate, relax, and release. Until next time, stay strong, stay proud, and stay black, y'all.